Morning, everyone. How you doing on this beautiful Memorial Day? I wanted to apologize for last year. I made it a tradition on my channel, being a veteran myself, that I do a tribute to Memorial Day. And so that's why I'm doing this year. So,
Hey, Dan.
morning. How you doing? It's one of my neighbors. One thing I really cherish, what I love up here, where I'm at now, is we have so many veterans up here, served in all branches and all different types of theaters. One thing I have not come across at all in 53 years, I have not come across another band of brothers that served in the 1st Cavalry Division when I did, in late 71 and 72. I guess we're kind of rare nowadays. 53 years now, I have not met one that served in the Cav at that time period. Now today, of course, we all understand that this is for the ones that sacrificed their lives for this great country of ours. And I mourn for every one of them, and I always will. The price of freedom is extremely high, but it's also earned, and it's extremely high to keep. Now today, on this Memorial Day of 2026, May, I'm going to tell you an untold story that's never been told, and it's been sitting in my craw for 53 years. And one thing that gets under my skin real quick, and it's one of my top pet peeves, I cannot stand that one sentence. You guys in Vietnam, you lost the war. They're so dead wrong. We did not lose that war. And I'll explain it to you in a few minutes. It takes place in 1972, deep down in South Vietnam. I was attached to the 1st Cavalry Division. I was on a fire base outside of Bien Hoa, South Vietnam. Now, in that particular area in Vietnam, there was a whole lot of fighting going on, more so than any other part of Indonesia. In 1972, late of 72, about that time period, our government asked for the stand down of all of our infantry units, in which they did, and they sent their colors home, they sent the units home. These were all combat units. Infantry, artillery, mechanized, you name it. And they sent them all back home. Late of 72, after we bombed and leveled Hanoi with a mass formation of B-52s, they say we dropped enough bombs on them that day that was equivalent to 1 or 2 nuclear bombs. Nonetheless, we left Hanoi in pebbles and rubble. In that same time period, they left us, the 1st Cavalry Division, all alone. We were by ourselves. We were the last combat unit left in the whole country of South Vietnam. And because they did that, it created a vacuum that drew down the North all through the country of Vietnam. They swarmed through it. Consequently, we ended up surrounded. We were surrounded from all ends. To our left flank, our right flank, to our center, our backs were against the wall. At that time period, the 1st Cavalry Division, we were strong 26,000. And thank God we were completely air mobile. We could handle any situation that the North Vietnamese wanted to throw at us. We always have. So in late '72, North Vietnam invaded South Vietnam. The fire bases that we had in those particular areas, we turned them over to the ARVNs. And the ARVNs were basically, those were the South Vietnamese military. A lot of them took off and ran. A lot of them took their uniforms off because they knew they'd be executed if they got captured. They put their civilian pajamas on and their ice hats and blended in with the civilians. Consequently, we found that we were all on our own. And to tell you the truth, a lot of us, we had discussions about it and we felt abandoned. We felt our country abandoned us, left us there, intentionally. But you want to know something? I was so glad I was attached to the 1st Cavalry Division. So, what finally happened is the NVA surrounded us. 26,000 of us, the NVA strength was 300,000. That's right, 300,000. Against us, 26,000. Well, we do, because of the fact we were on our own. We had to fight like we have never fought before, with such a ferocity that was mind-blowing. I stand here today because I had to tell this story because it's never been told, and I'm sick of the lies. I'm sick of the ones who served in Vietnam getting a bad rap because we don't deserve it, because that's not what happened, and that's not the way it was. And I'm telling you this, why? Because I was there. I experienced it. Nonetheless, that campaign didn't last days, didn't last weeks, went on for months. These guys fought with such a ferocity. It was unbelievable. Right now I get really emotional because I feel like I'm back there again, right now. We ended up and we kicked their butts all the way back to the north where they came from. That's right. At that time period in late '72, we were knocking on the front door of Hanoi. We were right out of the boat. We could have walked right on in to North Vietnam and owned it. When we pushed them back, I don't think they ever thought that we could accomplish such a mission, but we sure the hell did. And we kicked their asses all the way back to the north. They went back to the north, and as soon as that moment happened, we were told to stand our colors down, send the colors of the 1st Cavalry Division back to Fort Hood, Texas. 1973, the colors went back. We were the last combat unit to leave Vietnam. And a lot of you don't know this, we were also the first one to engage in combat, the 1st Cavalry Division, 1965. That's a fact. Less than 600 men of the CAV engaged in conflict with over 2,000 NVA. And we won that victory too. So, in hence, we didn't lose Vietnam, man. We didn't lose it. How could we have lost it if we kicked their asses all the way back to the north? 26,000 of us took on 300,000. That was That was the Norse best of the best of their military. First Cav, the unsung heroes of Vietnam. And the rest of the guys that served in Vietnam, we all got a bad rap, guys. But from me to you, we didn't lose, brothers. We won. I'm telling you, I was there. We won. I don't care what they say. I don't care what anybody says. Because most of them were not there. In fact, a lot of them that barked that crap weren't even born. And that infuriates me even further. So, you may not ever hear this story again. I waited 53 years. I held this inside. It was time. It was time to be story to be told. So, I remember this. Freedom is the most precious thing on this planet. Is your freedom. I've served in 2 different fronts. I've served in Europe, early '71, in the Cold War, and Vietnam. I was in 2 different fronts. And I'm telling you for myself, there is no other country on this planet that has freedom. No other country on this planet has a beautiful flag as this. So other than that, I'm going to let you guys go. Enjoy your Memorial Day. Be safe. And please, don't ever forget any of us. Not ever. And it's up to you guys to carry it on to preserve the freedom. That's freedom. No other country has a flag like this. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. I talk too much. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my Memorial weekend. See you later.